Good Friday morning to you all. Hopefully you guys are doing great. We've got some big news out there to cover here on this Watchmen update. The White House now prepared to massively scale down the federal workforce as we face a shutdown starting next week. Not going to put them on temporary hold and then pay them all their back pay, but actually just firing many people. If the Democrats want to approve a budget, well then President Trump is like, well, then we don't need all these workers. It's going to be a play into their hands, it looks like. Denmark comes under a second and much more severe drone attack on their airports. We got the United States about to bail out Argentina, Obama weighing in on things he doesn't know anything about, and the Soros Foundation now being investigated. We got that and a whole lot more. Let's get into it. Welcome to the Poplar Report. I'm Steve Poplar. I'm an accountant by trade, and these are your updates that you guys are sending in from all over. If you have something to share, make sure you use the word update somewhere in your comment. That does get it to the right place. We do want to thank our sponsor, Genesis Gold Group. They help people with retirement accounts to get out of stocks and bonds and get into something safer. If you want to be in precious metals, if you want to get rid of the stocks and bonds in your portfolio, Jonathan and his team can walk you through that, explain how everything works. You can see all the fees up front and see if it's a good fit for you and your family. If you want to find out more, there'll be a link at the end of the video. All right, the Department of Homeland Security stated on Thursday that it would not comply with California's unconstitutional new law requiring federal agents to not wear masks. They said that this is unconstitutional. They have no jurisdiction whatsoever to order federal officers to do anything. And so California can pass laws all it wants to, but it cannot enforce those on federal agents. This could lead to a showdown in the coming days. If California tries to arrest any federal officers for covering their face, this is going to get really interesting really fast. California is like the new Confederacy. They want to start their own country. And you know what? Maybe they need to get the business end of the stick for a little bit. United States Department of Justice has announced that they have started investigating the Soros Foundation in connection with many criminal actions across the United States, and because they have instigated and promoted and supported financially violence. This is going to get crazy. If we see the United States government going after developing a RICO case, so racketeering case against Soros Foundation and the violence that they have instigated through their network of organizations, if their money can be tied to actions and training provided to some of these people who have committed crimes, they can definitely be held accountable for those crimes, which is a big deal. So we have these lone people who are going pop, and then taking themselves, or they're being told that they're just a lone person. If their criminal actions can be linked back directly to billionaires who are funding them, this is going to get crazy. Bill Gates could be on the hook. Soros could be on the hook. The other billionaires could be on the hook, and other large-scale Democratic donors. President Trump, speaking of the devil, has decided to come out in favor of pregnant women using Tylenol, because of course he did. Why wouldn't he? Why wouldn't this non-doctor decide to give his medical advice? This is his quote. There are some basically making broad claims about certain pharmaceuticals that have been continuously disproven. Continuously disproven. So we're just going to totally disregard Harvard, Johns Hopkins, Mount Sinai, other universities, the Department of Health and Human Services, and the company Tylenol itself in its public statements. We're just going to disregard all of that because Obama thinks he knows what he's talking about. Now, the Department of Homeland Health and Human Services issued a directive through RFK and their spokesman, for pregnant women to talk to their doctors before they use Tylenol. That's all they said. Talk to your doctor before you do it. And that's really the best advice, and is the only advice anyone should be giving out there is, hey, talk to your doctor about this, raise this specific concern, and make sure that they are aware of that and that, to give you advice on this topic. All right, the United States has announced plans to extend a $20 billion swap line to Argentina, basically a bailout, and is ready to buy the country's foreign bonds, providing much-needed financial support to President Javier Milei as he tries to regain investor confidence and stem a run on the peso. So the United States is going to bail out Argentina. Now, Milei is an ally of President Trump, and he is trying to do major reforms to Argentina. If he fails, Argentina very well could fall into the arms of the likes of China or Russia. So them being in the Western Hemisphere, as well as being in a critical location down south around the Cape of, Good Hope or whatever, down south, right? That is a critical waterway down there that Argentina does control, and they need to stay in the right camp. All right, the European Union, who likes to go after internet companies, has opened an antitrust probe into the German software giant SAP. That's interesting. They don't usually go after European ones, but they apparently are doing that in this case. All right, President Trump will sign an executive order, I think it's happening today maybe, dismantling left-wing groups that incite violence. President Trump has accused Democrats for instigating anti-federal officer violence and for the assassination of Charlie Kirk. He plans to sign an executive order ordering the Department of Justice to go after these networks. And that's part of where the Soros thing is coming from. We're going to be pursuing a RICO case. There is a lot of people doing a lot of nefarious things and then hiding behind, oh, well, that was a separate group. Yeah, but did your group give that group money? Because that makes you culpable. The White House tells agencies across the federal government to prepare for mass layoffs. Not temporary holds, but up till now we've been told that because Congress authorized spending, authorized a budget, therefore President Trump can't lay those workers off because the Congress showed its intent to have those workers on staff by preparing a budget. But President Trump is basically saying, well, okay, if there's no budget, then Congress has dictated to us that we shouldn't have these workers. So therefore, we can just lay them off, lay all of them off permanently. They're not coming back later. They're just gone. They're going to be told, adios, see you later. And if the federal government, if the Congress then passes a budget weeks later, then President Trump's going to go, oh, we're supposed to hire people for these positions, which, God bless America, because that means he can effectively lay off the entire federal government and then only rehire the ones that are useful. Wow. The Democrats, I don't think that they fully understand what they've just done. They've just given President Trump essentially a carte blanche to fire everyone in the government that he doesn't like. And that's a pretty long list. And then he can rehire and fill all of those positions filled with blue blood, East Coast elite people, replace them with red-blooded Midwest Americans. Interesting, friends. We'll see if the Democrats really want to go through with that, and if they do, this could get pretty amazing for America. All right, Denmark is on alert and has alerted NATO and the European Union after coordinated drone attacks on its airports. Now, we reported this earlier in the week where Copenhagen and one of the other airports had a number of drone incursions into their airspace and they shut down. But this time, we're talking about 3 other airports plus the Aalborg airport, 4 airports on alert Thursday after unauthorized drones conducted what authorities described as a coordinated attack. This is not 1 or 2 drones. This is not one drone went through all the different airspaces. It's coordinated, multiple drones, and they were unable to stop these drones and had to shut down these airports. This is somebody messing with the Danish authorities. And, of course, Denmark is saying it's probably Russia. Now, if Russia was trying to take out aircraft, they would have taken out aircraft, not just caused delays or something. I don't know. Anyway, that is a big issue, and we're going to see probably more come out about that in the coming days. All right, Henry says Maxwell House coffee went from $6.99 2 weeks ago in Southern California. It's now $17.99. Coffee prices are going crazy. Lisa says, just got a message from Clio, Michigan, and Birch Run, Michigan, Wi-Fi outages in those areas. Gas stations not working because no internet. Their cashier system's not working. So Michigan, some of those areas, big internet issues. This is from a Watchman in Alexandria, Virginia. I noticed many Watchmen talking about the lack of bugs in their areas this summer. Which is interesting because my area, and especially my yard, the bug population has increased 50% since last summer. So am I the only one experiencing a ridiculous increase in bug population? Now, a bunch of people saying this just started happening in the last couple of weeks, but earlier in the summer, definitely not having much. Let me know down in the comments down below. If you have something to share, make sure you use the word update, of course. Tawanda in North Texas says a hive of 30,000 bees was found in a home, about 100 pounds of hive. I guess where that may have been where all the bees went. Well, we say that in jest, right? John says, I went to my Sam's Club in Hiram, Georgia yesterday, and miracle of miracles, the price of Friskies 60-can case of wet cat food has actually come down. Miserly reduction, but a reduction nonetheless went from $42 and went down to $41. Needing to replace our cookware set, and the price on cookware has exploded almost $200. Selection was almost nil as well. Everything else like butter and mayonnaise, price remains steady. Hot dogs went up another 20%. Basically all meats are going up. And we're seeing, thankfully, I started buying Halloween candy in smaller batches back in July. I had a feeling a spike was coming, especially after your sobering reports on all things cocoa related. Stocked up on Keurig hot cocoa back in the spring for the same reason. And prices on all those things have gone up significantly, haven't they? Timothy says, we had ticks in April, but in June they just all disappeared. August is flea season here in Western New York, but there have been none. Now, as we near October, the ticks are back with a vengeance. Also, we normally have bars at night feeding on insects. They probably meant bats. No bats at all this summer until last week when just one appeared and it was flying during the early evening in full daylight. Bats are supposed to be nocturnal. Also, Tractor Supply pellet-type sheep feed seem to have changed their formula. The pellets are crumbling into powder, which causes big waste. Rena says, my son and I both got a Jace case back in 2021. Neither of us ever needed it. And of course, it's too far past the expiration to use. But the Don't they also did the Z packs. All right. Pat says is a food loop to consider. There is a huge market in secondary and recovered and discarded foods. Taking the food off the refrigerated trucks and sending them off to numerous small box trucks allows the fresh stuff to be swapped out, where it is repackaged as gourmet and delivered to upscale restaurants and shops for 4 times the price. The secondary and recovered discarded food picked up over the repackaged from salvage operations is put in the box trucks and moved to the stores that were supposed to get the fresh refrigerated stuff. See how that could work. So basically just looking for opportunities for repackaging and reusing, even food that's going to grocery stores can go to other places too. Ballistic tip, southeast Missouri here. I noticed the bug explosion that last few nights here as well. In previous years, our outside lights would be swarmed once the sun went down. This year had only 1 or 2 months that would occasionally be attracted to our lights. But for the past few nights, it has returned to normal. I don't recall similar events happening in my lifetime. Maybe the summer was getting so hot so quickly that it slowed down bug activity, or possibly that they stopped spraying in the air. We probably will never know. But we are seeing a lot of changes out there. There's pictures out there people are putting up of fall colors coming out a lot earlier than last year or previous years. What is happening with the weather? It looks like winter is moving in quickly. Serena says, Dacona, Colorado. No personal experience, ran into a Facebook post where someone was posting about a carnicera, Mexican grocery store, that was overcharging some people on fees and taxes. Checked Google reviews and people were complaining about these issues. Person posting says that they were overcharged over $60, which made it noticeable enough to catch. Multiple comments had bad experiences with themselves being overcharged. So we're talking about grocery stores hiding the prices and overcharging you. Be aware of what is on your receipt when the items are just listed as food with a price. A lot less accountability at these stores than corporate stores. So especially if you're going to international stores looking for food, please be careful about what's happening in your receipt, as well as even the Walmarts nowadays and these big box chains. They are putting less and less accountability on their receipts as well. All right, friends, thanks so much for your reports and being part of the Watchmen community. If you want to get some more information from Genesis Gold about what you can do with your retirement account, there's a link right there. If you want to check out another video from this channel, there's one right up there. I'll see you over there, or I'll see you guys later. Steve Poplar of the Poplar Report.